this one's going to be kind of a we're talking through stuff kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Should we do an intro even? Should we bother? Or is that just like, we're kind of off the cuff this week because it's just Izzy and I, so...
well, Morg?
Yes?
I say your pronouns, and I think you just did the intro.
Okay, yeah. Well, I'm Morg. My pronouns are they, he, and I don't know what we're doing right now.
Uh-huh. Hi, I'm Izzy, and I'm lost in a sea of thoughts and emotions. So, yeah, just any be respectful for the pronouns.
Damn.
That seems fine. What?
It just now I'm picturing you lost in the ocean. I don't know. That's why I'm lost in the pronoun ocean.
Oh, there are so many pronouns that I don't know what they mean, and I'm too afraid to ask.
You just gotta ask the person who uses them.
Yeah. So we're just gonna do like some bullshit this episode. There's one person out there thinking, how is that different from any other episode?
Rude, first of all.
Yes.
Second.
Play nice. Yeah. But no, we don't know for sure what we're going to talk about this episode. It's gonna be kind of a grab bag of different stuff. I will go ahead and chime in with like a little follow-up to last week. I think this is our first follow-up to a previous episode.
Yeah, at least like immediately afterward. Like we've definitely done like multiple ESO stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. So a few things to fill on some stuff. Morg, you at least glanced over the little write-up I had done.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, there's a magic system. You know a little bit about the world where this is supposed to take place, or at least what I had come up with then. Mm-hmm. We added a few things last week, like a secret society, and that, there's people who have those powers. They're basically kind of treated like superheroes, and they have, like, fans and such, like as you would adding that concept to the real world, because, hey, how is that different from any other celebrity?
True.
So, one of the things that was suggested, I kept on turning over in my brain, was merging this together with our shared universe to kind of add a serious side to it.
Yeah. It's a bit tough to add a serious side because in our host chat we keep referring to it as the Shithell universe. But
one of us keeps on referring to it as the Shithell universe.
It's Emery and Quadra. It's both of them.
Uh-huh.
I just am like the shared universe, and like I'll call it Shithell if someone else called it that first.
Yeah, pretty much same.
It's mostly just, yeah.
Look, we just have to figure out a better name.
Do we?
I think that this will cement Shithell as the goofy side of it, though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could still be, like, in the universe, but it's like, oh, we're gonna talk about Shithell today.
Yeah. But, yeah, the more I thought about it, the more I liked that, but I figured everyone should say yes to it before we did that. So, What do you think, Morg?
I mean, from what I know, it sounds cool, and, we'd been talking about magic stuff. I do think there's going to be some interesting stuff there since we have introduced, at least in the cyber world part, like we've introduced like things like undead and vampires and all that stuff. And, like, vampires are just real. And it's just like, is that true in your original universe that you made?
No reason for it not to be. I mean, there's no real story there as of yet because, like, I had a bunch of story ideas when I was a teenager, but I was a teenager. They were obviously awful.
They also means we're going to have some, like, non-anthropomorphic characters, even though the one you talked about was just because, at least, like, Jeremy Rich is, like, a Dampier. I always fuck that up. Who is, like, I think we maybe decided on half humans. Maybe? Sort of?
Yeah.
So that, implies humans exist.
Yeah. This is a world where anyone can be anything. Not in the positive way necessarily, but... Yeah. Just toss all the different character types in there. It'll be fine. We're not trying to make something like actual media. We're just having fun.
Unless? No, yeah, totally. I just like plausible deniability. In case, like, one of us is like, actually, I do want to do something with this world.
I mean, we still, like, we all retain our copyrights. I'm down for that. So let me add a little bit of info, because this will only take, like, 5 minutes. So I should have brought up the note sheet that I had already.
It does make me want to, like, introduce elements from my, like, childhood stories or something into it.
Yes, very good. That's one of the reasons why I thought it was a cool idea. Okay. So, just the few quick things. The ice person is the Archangel Gabriel. The earth person is the Archangel Michael. Those are the only 2 remaining angels. What's up with demons? I don't know.
Wait, you guys did stuff with the angels?
No, that was stuff I came here with. Like that was pre-existing things.
Damn, okay.
Yeah, so as of right now, like, fire, earth, ice, wind, and metal have been taken up, leaving lightning and water. If there's only one of each, it's possible to have more than one of each. It's just rare.
I like that because I like the idea of taking lightning and making a guy, because lightning is also associated with necromancy, and your boy loves necromancy because it's just so, like, fucked up. And there's a lot of weird stuff around it that I like to play with.
The only thing I have about lightning / necromancy is, at the same time as the Demon Lord going around doing their thing, another demon was their minion who had that power set.
Oh, okay. The Demon Lord, wait.
Different Demon Lord.
I know.
Different Demon Lord. Like, it's an unnamed demon.
Yeah.
Because I don't currently have a name for them. I think I did at one point, but I do not currently have a name for that demon. But they did possess Alexandria, so not great for her.
Oh.
But that demon no longer exists, so good for her.
I did a whole thing where I looked up a bunch of demons because I was playing this, like, solo game called Wreck This Deck, and you put, like, demons and stuff into, like, a deck of cards.
Mm-hmm.
So I just have a bunch of names rattling around in there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure I just went through reading the Ars Goetia at some point, but like I said, it doesn't really matter for our purposes. Because they wouldn't, like, if a story was written at this point, it wouldn't involve them. Other miscellaneous thing, I do think the Grim Reaper exists in this setting.
Is the Grim Reaper an angel or demon, or are they separate?
No.
Okay. There is an Angel of Death, so that's why I was like, are they connected or not? The Angel of Death, there's also Samael, which is a different Angel of Death. Okay, sorry. This is getting in the weeds.
I figured you would enjoy the angel talk. Given some of your podcast interests.
Yeah.
So yeah, the only other thing I had about the setting is about Gabriella. She really hates Alexandria. Like a whole lot, because she doesn't know that that's a person. All she knows is that's what the Demon Lord looked like. She was a shepherdess, like with little sheeps out in the field. And she came home one day and her entire village had been slaughtered. And, she saw who did it and not good. So that's why she was so hardcore as, like, a little hero afterwards.
Mistaken identity.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be something you like to play with.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, also, just Alexandria has no memory, really, of the time that she was possessed by the demon, so fun.
Who saved her?
Technically, Gabby.
Saved herself. Oh, no, Gabby. I'm sorry, Gabby saved Alexandria.
Yeah, technically, Gabby is the one who destroyed the demon.
But didn't know she fully did?
Didn't know that, doesn't fully know that she did because she was kind of lied to. And also, doesn't realize that demons even exist. Doesn't realize angels exist, even though she was hanging out with two of them.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. She got tricked big time, and then, in the modern day, everything's very confusing for her. So yeah, that was, all I had to toss in as a follow-up. Like I said, I thought that stuff would kinda more mesh with some of the things you find fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that it seems like these characters were, frozen in time.
Mm-hmm. Gabby, literally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Alexandria got kicked through a time portal by Gabby. What was that noise?
My mouth.
Okay.
It can be cut by the editor, maybe, because it was kind of a weird noise, but I was just, making, a psh noise, a psh, that's funny. Haha.
Okay.
I didn't realize I did it.
Yeah, I was just trying to avoid repeating a bunch of stuff from last time.
Now I want to know our other hosts' characters a little more, though.
Uh-huh. Well, do you want to add a serious side character or anything? Want to discuss the setting any? Otherwise, I'm happy to hand over the next topic to you.
It's funny because I was considering my next topic talking about one of my, like, high school National Novel Writing Month things that I can only remember bits and pieces from. But one of the stories that I finished has to sort of do with angels, but but more in the sense of, like, these are humans that were, like, genetically engineered with birds and just called angels. So it's just kind of like, we're going from this, like, fantasy angel stuff to, like, sci-fi weird experiment shit angels.
Yeah. Do they look like Pygar?
I don't know what a Pygar look like, so I don't know.
Barbarella, the angel in that.
Oh!
Who is just a dude with wings.
Yes, they do. Yes.
And a diaper for some reason.
They don't wear diapers. Well, they do as children, I guess. I forgot that his name was Pygar. What the fuck?
Yeah, sorry. I figured there was a good chance you would catch it from context of me being the one that said it.
Yeah, fair enough. No, so I did this whole thing where, like, they were they wear clothes because I was boring and also a teenager, to be fair. But they wore a lot of tank tops so they could, like, have the wings come out easier.
Sun's out, wings out.
Yeah. Oh, God. Sorry, I still do have questions about your setting, but now I'm thinking too much about my stupid, like, high school nano to, like, stop.
We're Calvin Ball this episode.
Okay, well...
It's fine.
It's funny because I don't remember everything, right? Because it's been, like, over a decade, and I don't know if I have it saved, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, this is a challenge I had. My
other story is partially on LiveJournal, but that one is less... that one was, like, me doing, like, my take on vampires and werewolves.
Yeah, I'm too scared to go find out what is on my old LiveJournal.
Yeah. Yeah. Kind of.
I'm very careful to never reveal information that could help you find it. This is not a challenge, audience.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because I finished, like, 2. I have only ever finished 2, and by finished, I mean did 50k words. I didn't finish the story. But the one with, like, the angel people was, like, one of the main characters, like, escaped somehow and was just, like, an edgy, like, winged boy. And, yeah, I don't know. He came across some funny teens that hang out. You know how it goes. The teens with attitude situation. But there was also, like, a side plot that I never really figured out what I wanted to do with, where I had, 2 characters that were, like, twins and, like, pretended to be each other sometimes. Which is weird. But I was also reading Tale of Two Cities at that time, and there was just, like, a guy that literally looks like the main character. Like, there was a whole thing about, like, guys that look like other guys and get framed, and it's been a long time since I read that book, but I remember, like, you know, there was a whole thing having to do with mistaken identity.
It is one of those classic tropes.
Yeah. Mr. Dickens knew what he was doing, I guess.
Especially if it involves royalty.
Right, yeah. It's just... So I was like, what if... Yeah, they were twins and related and stuff, I guess. But
I would hope the twins are related.
Well, listen. There was other weird shit going on with, like, genetics and bird people. And someone read my story and was like, have you ever read Maximum Ride? And I was like, no. Should I? So if anyone's like, this sounds like Maximum Ride, I didn't mean to. I never read it. But I just remember, like, an edgy boy with wings and cool, like, colored eyes, because you gotta have the funny eyes. You know, it's kind of a miracle they weren't, like, two different colors. I think they were just purple, because I was like, yeah, for some reason the genetics made his fucking eyes purple. I don't fucking know. But I also made, like, a snarky, like, shadow creature. So I was like, oh, this is not... Like, I'm remembering now. This story was not completely sci-fi, even if the, like, winged angel part was. Because I was like, there was, like, a weird shadow guy that was just, like, taunting one of the characters for some reason. And I don't know what their deal is, but I knew they could travel through shadows. And that's not... I don't know, that sounds like some magic shit to me, if you ask me.
You don't gotta explain shit, it's magic.
I know, but I was trying to explain shit poorly, but, you know. Maybe there's a fucking shadow domain in your world. It doesn't look like there is, but... I don't know, I'm sure one of them could hide in shadows or something. But I just, like, I don't remember anyone's name, except for, I think the shadow being's name might have been Kieran. Maybe. And maybe the twins were Tyler and Kai? And, the fucking... I don't remember any of the teens with attitudes names, though. They're just nothing, I guess. Because I think I made the twins, like, adults, and I, like, didn't know what I was doing writing adults, because I was, like, 15.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy.
So I was like, I don't know how to write these guys, but I did. And no one was gay, and that was incredible, because the next year's story, there definitely were gay characters, and I was like, how did I write a story without gay? But if you think about it, someone, I don't know, there's probably, like, a trans metaphor in there. It's just not literal. Whereas, like, the wolf vampire story I made, it was gay. The main character was a bisexual. And into the female werewolf and the male vampire that saved him. And he was like, why am I special? And I never got to the point figuring out why he was special, but I still wrote 50,000 words.
Because you're the character in the story, that's why.
Yep. I remember the werewolf's name was Ruby, and the vampire's name was Arturo or Artie, and I don't remember the main character's name. I think this is a problem I keep running into. And I know he had an annoying best friend who was the one that said all the funny quippy stuff, who was maybe the one that, like, did a lot of the, like, non sequiturs in order for me to, like, keep just writing and writing and writing, because the thing about NaNoWriMo is that all it cared about was getting words out, and sometimes that meant writing the stupidest shit in the whole damn world.
This is why I've never done that, because it would just turn into word vomit from me.
I have complicated feelings about NaNoWriMo, and I think the idea I understand, but you have to it's not for everyone. And I could never do it again after high school. I kept trying and being like sad that I couldn't figure it out. But now I'm just like, oh, it's because my brain doesn't work like that anymore. Or maybe it never did because I wrote about stuff like, you know, weird non sequiturs. Like I made the funny friend character just go off and be like, wow, what if I dug a hole with the funny shovel? Because I think there was like something about a shovel being a meme on the Nano forums, because NaNoWriMo has forums. I think they still do, even in 2024, which is kind of fascinating. From like an archival standpoint, because I think a lot of the old forums are just gone, but they're still doing forums. And I'm like, why would you get rid of the old stuff? That's the stuff I would want to look back on and care about, but whatever. This is just me complaining about shit now. But anyway, yeah, I remember being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna have like queer tension between vampire boy and main character boy. Because I was like, wow, I love yaoi.
Yeah, Artie was the main character?
Artie was the vampire guy.
Okay.
The main character's name might have been something like pretty boring, like Sam.
Okay.
And the werewolf girl's name was Ruby. But, I don't remember what the best friend's name was either.
Yeah, I'm just like, anyone named Arturo, I'm just gonna assume that they're gay.
Fair. Damn, I tried to look up my account, and I think it was purged, which is fine. It never needs to be seen again. Oh, nope, it wasn't. I found it.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't have random knowledge about name meanings, which I sometimes do on occasion, Arturo does mean bear.
It means bear?
Bear.
That's really funny, because he was the twinkiest vampire boy.
Hell yes.
He was such a fucking little, like, dweebus.
Wait, he was the vampire and the werewolf was named Ruby?
Yes.
Ah. They should have swapped names.
Yes, I guess so. What I wanted to do was I wanted to make kind of a tomboyish, like, messy girl wolf lady. Because I was like, that's fun and unique, right? It's not, but it's like, at the time, it was the whole, like, Twilight thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of what I came up with as a teen was me trying to come up with things that were different from the stuff I was used to seeing.
The main character's name was Blake. I guess. I don't know where I pulled that name from, but that's his name.
That's a name. I don't know what that one means.
No. So Blake was the main character and was like, oh man, the werewolf and vampire have to work together, save me life. And they're bickering like an old married couple because they're funny, hate each other. And I was like, yeah.
The straights version of marriage. Two people who hate each other.
I was like, yeah, they're like an old married couple that aren't married. That's normal and good, right? This is a healthy relationship. They'll get together and love each other. It's fine. God, this is from 2010, dude. I'm dying. Just so you know.
Yeah, I have some memories of 2010.
I barely do.
How?
Yeah.
Where were you in your life? You were a teen?
Yeah, I was like 15? I'm a baby. I'm 30.
I feel so old.
You knew I was 30.
I forget.
You know I'm 30 years old.
I forget. And when we talk about a specific year...
It does make it more real, I understand.
I had already had a doctorate for a while. For like a year and a half when you were writing that.
No, that's so painful. I don't have a doctorate now.
I know, but that's just... This is why that in particular makes me feel old. It's like, oh shit. Big gap.
I want to die because I found it, but maybe I love to be embarrassed, and maybe I will, I won't post the actual link to the website, but I might copy and paste this to the Tumblr in the future. Unedited and raw and real from 15-year-old Morg. Who still thought, they were a cis woman at the time. And straight. I
mean, hey, you fast-tracked compared to me on that.
True, fair, yeah. Yeah.
Congratulations.
God. Sorry, I'm just making noises of pain.
Yeah, I've been making noises this episode also.
I guess, is there anything you want to ask about either story that I can maybe try to pull up?
I did ask some questions throughout it, so nothing's coming to mind right now.
The best friend's name was Ian. Of course.
That's a good name.
Yeah. It's funny because, I never I never watched Teen Wolf, the MTV show. Not the movies. I didn't see those either.
I've never seen the MTV show. I continually forget that it exists. So I am absolutely always thinking of the movies whenever someone says Teen Wolf.
That's why I clarified.
Yes, thank you.
I never really watched it, but I was adjacent to it, so I knew there was a lot of people's favorite character was Styles, and Ian is probably set up to be kind of the Styles of the situation, the unpowered, funny guy friend who ended up probably truly being the one that everyone shipped with other people if this ever came out, Because this was pre oversaturation of quirky Marvel quip stuff, or it was kind of right at the beginning of it, because I feel there was definitely quippy shit in the 90s and stuff too, but it was not as well, that happened, and you're the Marvel movies. It was still at the time period where that was cool, I guess.
Well, I am seeing that Jeff Loeb wrote Teen Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains a lot.
Whoa, I don't know anything about Jeff Loeb.
Moving on.
Smallville and Lost. Okay, I see.
He's not a good person.
Okay, fair enough.
And he is one of the people that is responsible for the really grown-worthy everything quips all the time.
So yeah, I never. That's why I was like, I didn't watch it, but I was like adjacent. And I like, it was one of those things where like I remember friends telling me about it, and I was like, what if I just read people talk about it instead of watching it myself? So I have a lot of like random knowledge about it, I guess. Yeah, I think that's kind of it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because a lot of the stuff that I even like found online was just like, wow, the fucking main character goes on the Nano forums in the story. How quirky. How funny.
Yeah.
Wow, what if
how meta?
How meta can you get? Wow.
Well, did they read about themselves on the
I don't think so.
Well, there's that at least.
Yeah. But I made references to like I also made references to like fanfics that were kind of well known, like references to My Immortal and stuff, because I thought that was funny at the time. There was like My Immortal, and then there was like, I called it like the My Immortal that a boy wrote instead, because it had the weird shit in it that like a teen boy would like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might have also, unfortunately, been a Harry Potter fanfic, but that was the that was the time. That was the time. That was the time period I was a teen in.
So, Morg, are you telling me that you know what teen boys like?
Unintentionally, I guess, yes.
Okay.
I did.
This helps explain partially why we're both trans. Because I don't.
I mean, I don't know if I actually do, but I thought I did.
Uh-huh.
I thought I did at 15. I thought I was not like other girls.
Yeah, just accept the silly joke and move on.
I know, but I was not like other girls. What do they call the nolog? If you see NLOG anywhere, that's someone shortening not like other girls. Because people have decided to shorten it for some reason.
Oh, it is something that would be said a lot, I guess.
I guess, yeah. And then I found out, I'm not like other girls because I'm not one. I see. And now I'm actually more like them than I ever was when I was a girl. You know what I mean?
Well, it's just NLG. You dropped the O.
True. You're so right. You're so right.
This is a wonderful episode. I'm enjoying it.
We're both just exposing ourselves, I guess.
Uh-huh. Yes, episode whatever the number this one is when it gets published. The one where Izzy and Morg just expose their asses.
I mean, I've been pretty forthcoming with people to be like, yeah, I was into like Hitalia in high school, and that's like kind of embarrassing on its own, because I think this live journal also has Hitalia fanfic on it, possibly.
I've never been a Hetalia fan, so I at least have that win.
Yeah. People.
No offense intended.
No, none taken. Listen, I'm way less embarrassed about the fact that I was into, like, Kingdom Hearts and shit. And that stuff can be, like, a lot of people were like, oh, that's cringe. And I'm like, no, it's funny. I think it's funny that I was into that.
Mm-hmm.
And it, like, makes a lot of sense if you talk to me, but being like, yeah, I was kind of into Italia, unfortunately. I made a New York. I made an OC that was New York, the state.
You've brought it back on topic.
Listen, me talking about my Nano stories was kind of on topic.
Yeah.
Because I was talking about a bunch of characters. These are all characters I've made through my life.
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess there's a lot more to say about everything else. Like, New York was just, like, my concept of New York as a teenager, which was not a whole lot because I lived in the suburbs. And I did not live in, like, the big city, the Big Apple. I think that's it that I can or want to talk about these old nanos.
All right. Do we want to talk about anything else?
I don't know.
We're like at that point in the timeline where we could end now and it be a very short episode, or we could go for one more.
We could talk about, I don't know, maybe I could, even though it's kind of weird to go back to the beginning and talk about, like, your setting.
No, it's cool.
Part of me's like, what are some things that...
Well, it's our setting now.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
There's just a few pre-established things that I want to keep, and most things I'm flexible on.
Yeah, what are those pre-established things, I guess?
I've said most of them on this episode and the last.
Okay.
Just taking the shortcut there.
Okay. Is there anything where you would, like, make more magics than what's listed there? Like, I joked about a shade magic. Or are you kind of like,
yeah, like...
enough?
Oh, there's, like, the whole point was to make it to where there weren't many non-regular people.
Okay.
As far as just, like, general populace. So, yeah, it's like, could add up, who knows how many different little domains or areas or power sets, whatever, and still keep that, so that's fine. I do have reasons why all the things are paired the way they are.
I'm sure you talked about a lot of that last time, right?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Do you want to talk about that now, or...?
I mean, if there's one or two that you're interested in, why? Like, everyone... Like, the one that it seems obvious to everyone was the lightning necromancy.
Well, it feels very like, Frankenstein.
Well, yeah.
Like,
that's all.
I could also see, like, water and stuff, or, like, earth. Because earth is associated a lot with bodies a lot of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's conjuration just because, like, that's solid stuff.
Yeah.
Fire and healing just because those are both things that take a lot of energy and heat typically.
It's interesting that you went with fire because of, like, Avatar The Last Airbender specifically, I think of, like, water and healing. But you went for enhancement with water.
Fire and healing was the first one that was established. Like some of these I added after the fact.
Okay.
But fire and healing, wind and time, earth conjuration, and ice corrosion were like the original 4 that I initially came up with, and then just like, if there were more, these are what they would be for the others.
What made illusion and metal?
Mainly because, like, technology type stuff.
Okay, interesting. An enhancement, is that just like because the human body has so much water in it?
Partially, yeah.
Corrosion's interesting, but I kind of get it because, like, water gets into, like, rocks and then freezes and it cracks the rock.
Yeah.
And it, like, corrodes. I guess that's erosion, not corrosion, but that was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, you could just put it as destruction also.
Cool, okay. It's just interesting because, like, you can also think of, like, fire as being kind of destructive.
Uh-huh.
So.
Yeah, also, like, most of them are, like, a little bit, like, I can offer an explanation for them, but most of them are not what they would typically be paired with.
Yeah. Wind and time kind of makes sense to me for some reason. I think that's partially because of Zelda.
Mm-hmm. I guess. Also, wind and time together is just a really fun because of the things that you can do with that. Like, you freeze air with that power set, and, you know, you can, like, walk on an invisible bridge or all sorts of different stuff.
I guess I should, like, explain, like, Link is associated with time, like Ocarina of Time.
The hero of time.
But also, like, he's the hero of wind in, like, Wind Waker.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, that was, yeah. It wasn't, like, a great explanation, but
different links.
Yeah, I know.
Explicitly different links for those two.
Sure. But I think one of the goddesses is also associated with, like, wind and stuff. And it's also, like, the courage one, I think. Maybe? It's been a long time. Yeah, because power... Yeah, okay. Because the water one with Zelda, and the power earthy...
I remember they're red, blue, and green. Yeah. And then the goddess Hylia is time.
Yes.
And I guess also holy or light.
Yeah, I think you're right. But yeah, there's no light.
But this is not a Zelda podcast.
No, I know, but... But, like, I can, you know, that's why I think of the elements paired like that. And why I said stuff like referencing waterbenders and stuff.
I came up with this stuff before Avatar existed.
That's cool. Yeah, that's funny.
Off mic sometime, I'll tell you some other stuff that was around that is really funny in hindsight that I stripped out because large properties have used those same ideas since then. Kind of along the same lines as, like, Avatar comparisons.
That's funny. That's crazy. If there's time, is there space? But I guess conjuration's kind of space, right?
Look, we can always add more.
Me just, like, pulling out the Pokemon type chart. I will not force you to make a bug type, I promise.
I mean, there's a lot of Pokemon types that are just a creature type, not, like, something elemental.
Yeah, there is.
Also, just, like, I like it when metal is an element.
Yeah, it's cool. Especially because there's several metals that are elements in the periodic table.
Ooh.
There's no light and dark, though.
Nope.
So that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like a lot of... If you're like, I'm running out of types, I'll just add light.
Those were intentionally left out, because they were so overused.
Fair enough.
Also, I couldn't really think of anything fun to do with them.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
And now the irony is I have since had fun characters that did stuff with light and dark.
True. Got a lantern. You got a couple lanterns. You got a void creature.
I have two very different lanterns.
Yes. Could you even call Xenu a lantern anymore?
Xenu, I don't think should be used as a playbook character anymore.
Yeah.
But if I were, obviously I would go with the dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
I would reskin the hell out of it, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's funny. Force you to make a soul type. Ghost. Astral.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Maybe poison.
Do you have... We're coming up on time, so yeah. I think this will be short. Do you have any NPCs in mind for Fellowship 3 yet? Even though that's, probably years away.
Oh, God. Well, I do in the sense that there's characters that are still around from, not a ton, but characters don't...
Yeah, they're mostly mine.
traditionally die, and you might see the Corpse Queen again, and you might see several dragons. And some dreamers that we've maybe mentioned offhand might have some more screen time. And, I have some ogre ideas that I have made, but I don't have, a guy, specifically, this guy is going to do this thing. I have, groups in mind. Factions of people, almost. Oh, this faction is gonna do some... They want to explore more of ESO, and this other faction that are going to be more isolationist, and this faction who is really gung-ho about pushing technology forward, and this faction that's we should be focusing on magics. So I have a lot of factions, and they're not fully realized yet, but...
Yeah, and I provided you with an additional faction that's basically a bunch of spies.
Right, yes. Yeah. I was gonna... I don't know what I was gonna do with that, but I was gonna probably talk to you a little bit more about, how many do you think are around, and how many...
That is very dependent on the timeline.
Yeah.
Because they're all related. So how big is that family?
Right, yeah. Because it's the future, and it's the far future. But what does that mean? Especially because, how many kids do you expect the two of them to have in their time?
You mean Gal and Jolene?
Yeah.
Just the two.
Okay, they are going to have two. Okay.
Twins.
I couldn't remember if you told me.
There was a spare. That sounds worse than how I mean it.
God.
Look, if you are doing crazy mad science to make a test tube baby, it only makes sense to have two, so that you do have a backup.
But if that one kid finds out that they're considered the spare, they might have a complex about it.
No, it was just let's do two because Morg is potentially nuts. But there was not one that was like the spare.
Okay.
It was just, let's try two, in case something happens.
Okay. There's probably going to be at least 2 generations spawned off of them, if not 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, if that gives you an idea.
You initially said 3,000 years, so...
Oh, I did say 3,000 years. Fuck.
So
no, you're right.
That would have been many generations. I think 3,000 might not make sense.
Yeah, I know. I think in my head I had like cut it back a little bit without actually telling you guys that.
Yeah, well, I got that impression.
Yeah. I wanted to make it like far enough that like not a lot of people would still be around that we would know that like have normal lifespans, and also so like the technology could like jumpstart like pretty far, which is why I initially said 3,000.
Yeah.
But I made it more like 1,000, I guess.
Mm-hmm. That's still many generations. And that's one of those things where it's kind of like exponential growth.
Yeah, that's true.
So it doesn't really matter.
I think when I said 2, I was like, that's like a couple hundred. And then I was like, wait, no, it's probably more than a couple hundred.
Also, I think halfling families are a little bit different from what we think of as like a nuclear family.
Right, yeah, that makes sense. Gotta ask Emery a little bit more about that, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm referring to Newt, which is what my eventual character is going to be named, as a Fave. Because they're just a mix of several different things. Oops.
I think actually, based on all this, probably be like 3 times 10. It's probably like 30 generations.
That's a whole hell of a lot of generations.
Does that make sense? I don't think that makes sense. I think I did that wrong in my head. Fuck. I'll figure it out and tell you later, because I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a while. I was like, that's not right. That doesn't sound right. Now that I said it out loud. Because like 30's a lot. Fuck me. Okay.
30 generations is so many.
Yeah, I realized that after I said it. Because I was like, 3 generations is like 100 years.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just thinking like, if it was an average of 2 kids,
yeah,
each for 30 generations, I think that like that's a total like obviously, and I may be just like this is mostly mental math. So I very much may be doing it wrong, but that would mean that there would be about 1 billion descendants.
Jesus Christ.
Like, not 1 billion in
Fuck.
the most recent generation.
Fuck.
But each generation is bigger than the last.
That can't be right. 30 can't be right. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I fucked up somewhere.
Well, no, I mean, that also would assume that they all are like... I mean, here's the thing.
They're definitely not all having kids.
What percentage of the world is descended from Genghis Khan?
Oh, God. Isn't it like a lot? Like, I don't know.
I'm looking it up. 1 in 200 men.
Wow.
Apparently.
That's a lot.
But that's not nearly 30 generations, I don't think.
No, I'm sure it's not.
Because when was Genghis Khan? Around the year 1200?
Maybe I can just, look up how many generations,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess that means approximately 17.5 million men are descendants of Genghis Khan.
That's a lot.
Because we don't know how many women.
Million? That's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah. We have totally gone off the rails.
I know, and I found this website that was telling me 1,000 is 30-something generations, so I'm not completely crazy.
No, it's that whole exponential growth thing.
Yeah.
Because if it's an average of 2 kids per kid, then you just double it every generation.
Yeah.
So I think that comes out to 2 to the power of 30.
That's too many.
I mean, again, that's total number through all generations, not that last generation, but it's still a lot.
Yeah. Even if I go 500 years, that's 15 generations.
Yeah, I mean, it also doesn't have to be literally everyone is in the family business.
Could be, though.
It's just whoever is in the direct line or something. Who knows?
It's funny.
The only thing I know for sure is I was proud of the names I gave the kids.
I don't remember the names you gave besides New.
Oh, no, I meant Jolene and Gal's kids.
Yeah, I don't remember the...
You should.
I have a terrible memory.
That's fine. It's treble Arliss Var and bass Rombel Geyser.
That's right. You named it after all your friends.
Uh-huh.
God.
I mean, also, they were kind of big into music.
Fair, yeah.
So it fit.
Yeah.
I just think bass Rombel is really funny.
It is funny. I think this is a good place as any to end it, though.
Yes. Yes, that's a podcast, folks.
Yeah.
You just talk until you're done.
I guess that's
Hopefully
true.
the editors aren't mad at us.
Listen, it's fine. We've done this kind of shit before. So,
shall I get to the ending?
Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Izzy. I don't really do social medias, but I recently did make a Fur Affinity account. I am Isadora on there. I'm also going to be in an episode of SCP Research Archives someday. And you can find me in the Discord in the show notes. We have streams normally on Mondays and Fridays. What are those streams? Whatever we're feeling like. A lot of times it's art. So yeah, that's kind of my say-so on this.
You can find me at Haunting the Morg in most places, but especially Tumblr. But it's also on Blue Sky. You could also find me at Gengar on co-host. You can find me on the Sonic Hustle, but there's a temporary hiatus because Dan, the teacher and main editor, is working a lot right now. That's life, baby. We love job. And
lies.
Yes, lies. But yeah, and then this podcast. Well, you already set the Discord. You might check out this guy on most websites. You can find it at noisepace.xyz.
We have a Tumblr. That's the only one I've seen.
That's the most up-to-date one. It's a little behind again, but it is. Check out this guy on Tumblr, co-host. I think technically Blue Sky also. I might just bite the bullet and make an X because apparently people are still fucking using X. But
I vote against that.
I said maybe. But I barely
No, I'm just saying I vote against that.
I barely update the Tumblr on time, so probably not. It was just something I was thinking about.
Yeah, also, I will dead name it as Twitter as long as he dead names his daughter.
Yeah, fair. I mostly see people write it as X, formerly Twitter, and they still do that. I just I don't know why my brain was like, it's X. I'm like, is it? No, it's not.
Look, you just pulled the opinionatedness out of me. Sorry.
No, it's fine. It's fair. I usually call it Twitter. Okay. And with that, I don't know how to end this because we kind of fucking...
Well, we didn't know what we were doing when we started.
Yeah.
Why would we know what we're doing when we ended?
That's so true. Good night, everyone.
Bye!